This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
During my service in the United States Congress, I took the initiative in creating the Internet. So said Al Gore in a March 9, 1999 broadcast on CNN, as the Vice President prepared to launch his presidential bid. That sentence was one of many factors that would contribute to his Electoral College loss to George W. Bush the following year. The phrase, Al Gore invented the Internet, became a frequent late-night talk show joke, even though Gore had said creating and not inventing. His political opponents pointed to the CNN interview as evidence of his being a liar or, at the very least, a master-class exaggerator. After all, how could a member of Congress single-handedly create the Internet? Since the 2000 election, history has been kinder to Gore. Some commentators have since noted that Gore did, in fact, take the lead on a 1991 bill that funded new technology and allowed the private sector to develop networked computing technology that the Defense Department had been developing for decades. Gore was not crazy to suggest that Congress was responsible for creating the Internet, at least the Internet as we know it today. The dynamic, communal, and vicious public square exists because of one federal law. But this law wasn't born from the bill that Gore sponsored. 26 words in an entirely different federal statute have created the modern Internet. No provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. Those words are part of Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act of 1996, written by an odd pairing of congressmen, California Republican Chris Cox and Oregon Democrat Ron Wyden. The 26 words would come to mean that, with few exceptions, websites and Internet service providers are not liable for the comments, pictures, and videos that their users and subscribers post, no matter how vile or damaging. The services retain this broad immunity even if they edit or delete some user content. As the name of the law suggests, Cox and Wyden, working with technology companies and civil liberties groups, wrote the bill hoping to encourage early online services such as America Online and Prodigy to moderate pornography, filthy jokes, violent stories, and other words and images that could harm children. Section 230 was a direct and swift response to a Long Island, New York State Court judge's 1995 ruling against Prodigy, then the largest online service in the United States. Relying on a tangled web of First Amendment decisions dating to the 1950s, the judge ruled that because Prodigy moderated some content and established online community policies, and it failed to delete posts that allegedly defamed the plaintiff, Prodigy could be sued for those posts, regardless of whether it knew of them. Had Prodigy taken an entirely hands-off approach to its users' posts, the First Amendment might have protected it from the lawsuit. This court opinion stirred concerns that online services would not set family-friendly guidelines, fearing being sued into oblivion. By immunizing all online services from lawsuits over materials that their users upload, Cox and Wyden hope to encourage the companies to feel free to adopt basic conduct codes and delete material that the companies believe is inappropriate. But there was another reason that Cox and Wyden provided such sweeping immunity. They both recognized that the Internet had the potential to create a new industry. Section 230, they hoped, would allow technology companies to freely innovate and create open platforms for user content. Shielding Internet companies from regulation and lawsuits would encourage investment and growth, they thought. The bill's proposal and passage flew under the radar. Section 230 received virtually no opposition or media coverage, as it was folded into the more controversial Communications Decency Act, which was added to the Telecommunications Act of 1996, a sweeping overhaul of U.S. telecommunications laws. Beltway media and lobbyists focused on the regulation of long-distance carriers, local phone companies, and cable providers, believing that these companies would shape the future of communications.